definitely.
All right, guys, this is Beard of Darkness Book Reviews. Thank you for being here. I have a wonderful guest with me tonight. I've really looked forward to this interview. One of my good friends, John Mauro, just has such good things to say about Beth Tabler. How are you tonight?
I am really great. I am so excited to be here.
I'm excited that you're here. It's cool when you kind of first step
I'm
into a
really great.
community.
I'm so excited to be
Um,
here.
if you have YouTube up, that's going to also
It's
maybe
echoing
I.
really bad.
Oh,
Is it echoing for you?
that's hilarious. Yes, I was in the wrong. I had YouTube up. It should stop soon. Is it done? Can uh maybe plug back in your mic? Yeah.
How about now?
Yep, I can hear you now. I think we're good. Hey guys, that happens. It happened. I went one time. I went 10 minutes. My phone died.
I can hear you now. I think we're good.
Yeah, maybe try your.
I went one time. I went 10 minutes. My phone died.
I'm gonna put the headphones on. I think.
Yeah, I think that'll work.
Yeah, maybe try your. I went one time. I went 10 minutes. My phone died.
I'm gonna put the headphones on.
I think we're good. Can you hear me? Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you.
Okay, I think we're good. Awesome. I'm
That's
so
so much
glad.
better.
Oh yeah, it is. Sorry about that, folks. It happens. And Birch, we've even got confirmation. It's no more echoing, so we're good to go. So again, thank you for being here, Beth Tabler. How has your day been?
My day is really good. It's still going though. Why would it be echoing?
Well, I don't know. Sometimes it just kind of happens. Sometimes I've had people with Bluetooth, and it kind of just doesn't work. Sometimes it's just really shoddy. Sometimes, so
maybe I should come back, like go out and come back. Maybe.
Can you still? Are you still hearing an echo?
Yeah, it's still echoing really bad.
Okay, yeah, yeah. Let's try that.
Okay.
Anyway, guys, so Beth will be back here, so I'll.
Okay.
Beth will be back, guys. Sometimes the technology just craps out on us, but until then, uh, we're gonna kind of just wait on her, guys. Let's see who's in here. Timothy Wolf. Hello, everyone. Happy Wednesday. Yes, happy Wednesday to you. Tim McKay, of course, always hanging out. Thank you so much. Samoki dude. Hello. If you kind of just joined, I think Beth is back. 1 second.
I'm back. I'm back.
Yep. Is everything better?
Everything's better. Yeah.
Awesome. I'm so glad to hear that. So tell everybody what you do and where you do it.
Well, I have three places, I guess I do it. So the 4-Week Out blog, which I know a lot of people know of. I got a wonderful team, very cool people. We review just about everything from like romantasy all the way to dark horror. And then Grimdark Magazine, and I am the editor of the issues. So
Oh, wow.
I get the issue, I get the idea, I pitch to all the authors, I do all the back end stuff. I work with the amazing Sarah Chorn, she's editing it, and then we design the cover, and then I put it together, and yeah.
You have a very important job. It sounds like you do a lot of you have many hats. That's really cool. What's your favorite part about doing it?
I don't know. I just feel like I found the thing I'm supposed to be doing. I really love putting together anthologies and like having a vision of telling an overall story, and then reading people's works and putting them together in a cohesive way to tell a larger story. I don't know. I really like doing it.
So I know you do lots of interviews, like we were talking about a little bit before we got on here. What has been your most unexpected thing about doing reviews? Like, I know I have my answer, but what is something you went in totally blind and you're like, I just have no idea how this is going to go, and it totally just surprised you?
So when I first started doing interviews, I'm a big book geek, like long time book geek.
That's wonderful.
Since I was like 12. And you put authors on a pedestal. they create these amazing stories, and you know, you want to be part of these worlds. Well, when you start talking to them, authors, they're artists, and they're just people doing things. You know, everybody's got jobs, everybody's got families, everybody's got
Yes.
hobbies that are not authorly stuff. They're not an idea anymore. They're real people who just happen to be incredible storytellers. And I thought that was interesting.
Don't you think like the narrative, like after you talk with an interview or an author, just reading their book has this next layer to it?
Yeah, because you see like little bits and pieces of that author inside of the story. Or it could be completely different. Like Orson Scott Card, I won't review Orson Scott Card. I call it the Orson Scott Card problem, because I love Ender's Game, but I really have a difficult time with his politics.
Okay, I got you.
Yeah, I mean, and more so than, I mean, like I said, authors are just people. They believe whatever they want. They don't owe me anything, but I don't want to prop him up. You know,
I think there's a something to be said about keeping, especially in that sort of thing, the artist and their art kind of separate.
Yeah, and so, but his is completely opposite. His politics, like Ender's Game, is completely opposite him. Yeah, so sometimes there's no bits of the author in the story.
I think a lot of the time that's probably true. I've kind of find that to be something I've noticed after talking with an author. It's kind of, I don't know, it's kind of revealing as you read their book. It kind of makes more sense to me. I don't know.
Mm-hmm.
I've always been curious to other reviewers, like how long does it take you to read a book, typically? Okay,
so I used to read about a book a day.
Wow.
I was really fast.
Sounds like it.
So I'm pretty open about this. I have chronic migraines. And
oh, wow.
About 5 years ago, I came down with something called intracranial hypertension. And it means that I have too much fluid around my brain for some reason. And it compresses my brain and it causes migraines. It also makes it difficult on my eyes to read for long periods of time. So my reading speed has gone down quite a bit.
Okay, just because like the pain?
Yeah, because it causes double vision, it causes pain. I still do it because, hardcore. But
yeah, you couldn't give up reading.
I can't give up reading, but I have to, like, I do audiobooks now. Constantly do audiobooks now. I do audiobooks. I do little bits and pieces. I do Kindle read to me, in the robotic voice. I have ways around it. I'm trying, but I don't read nearly as fast as I used to, but what can you do,
Well, it's nice that we have, if issues like that arise, there's accessibility as far as books have become in this modern world. So that's a really good thing. Just because you may have an issue with the pain and not being able to read at certain times, there's ways in the modern age to get around that. And that's awesome. I think that's wonderful.
I now read at almost 2 times speed too. So, or listen at 2 times speed. So I can get through stuff pretty fast.
See, now I can't read very fast, but I can listen fast. I do usually the 2 times, like you said. I think that's the perfect speed. Book Mama 87 says, Beth, what a beautiful bookshelf. What is your most prized book?
I was just talking about this.
Yes. This is wonderful.
I have 2 really cool. I have a lot of really cool books.
Look at her bookshelf, people. Oh my goodness. This Broken Binding is like, this is a total infomercial for Broken Binding. It's beautiful.
Like I've got if anybody knows what the king bow is. Okay. Does anybody know what the king bow is? So in like 2007, Hodder and Stoughton came out with all of the king books with a rainbow color scheme.
I have seen that, yes.
Yeah, they're really hard to find. And that was my pandemic project.
Oh, wow. Trying to find collecting them?
Yeah, trying to find them all over the world.
Isn't that the funnest?
Italian
so much fun.
Auctions. Yeah, I like hunting for stuff. And then I've got this little chestnut.
Oh, wow. I've never seen that cover.
You've ever seen this? Is
I've never seen that cover.
like this is like the second printing of something. This is the Fabio cover,
That's really cool.
and then I've got. Where did it go? Oh, okay. So my favorite book is Mistborn, and my father died in July, and it was it was really painful because I'm very close to my father, and I had been his of both my parents were in wheelchairs in the last year, and I was their caretakers. My mom actually came down with polio. You can believe that? Yeah.
Yeah, that you don't hear that very often anymore.
No, there's a resurgence of a specific kind of polio from the kids that got polio in the 50s pre-vaccine.
Wow.
She was one of the last kids to get the vaccine. Well, and she had polio before the vaccine. Well, it comes back again. And so she lost use of the right side of her body.
Wow, that's hard.
Anyway, so I was his caretaker, and then when he passed away, it was very difficult for me. Brandon Sanderson sent me this book, and it said, "For Beth, I'm sorry to hear of your loss. May you find peace in this difficult time, and may you always find hope."
I was telling Beth right before when she showed me that what a wonderful story that is, because it really brings you to a human side of an author, the side that you won't see in an interview, a side that you won't get through the reading. And I think that is a wonderful proof of that.
He is an exceptional person. I've interviewed him as well, and he is a really good dude.
That's one heck of a high profile interview. That's really cool, because I'm sure not too many people can get a hold of Brandon Sanderson.
Yeah, he's a really good dude. The interview's on YouTube somewhere, attached to Grimdark Magazine. And
I'm already learning through talking. So that's people that are here all the time. The thing is I'm here to learn. That's why I talk to all sorts of different people, and I've already learned a bunch. So I'm already love this this chat. So thank you. Who inspired you to start reviewing books?
It's kind of a funny story. Nobody inspired me to start reviewing books. Actually, I'll show you. It's my bookcase. All right. So I said I was a big book geek. Carried this around for years. It's a book of books.
Oh, so did you write that? Like, is it a list of books that you've read?
Well, some of them are highlighted, and the ones that are highlighted I've read.
That's a lot of them.
Yeah, and like I'm trying to go through the conical list of books, and I'm like, well, why don't I put my before we go, before we die, all the things that we do online, for family and friends and stuff. Why not? Because I used to do lots of other crazy stuff, like I walked a mile backwards, and
that sounds interesting.
And I would just have fun with it, before we die, let's do something interesting.
I like that. Now I know the context for the name. It makes so much more sense.
Completely not bookish at all.
No, but it makes a lot of sense now. I liked the title before that, a little bit of information, but afterwards it makes even more sense.
And I started putting more book stuff on, more book stuff, less doing stuff. And then December rolled around, and I was like, 6 people came to my site this month. This is the best month ever. And I was really excited, totally stoked. Okay. And it was that post something every day. I forgot what they call it. It's a challenge. You have a post every day of December.
Okay. I do know what you're talking about. I don't remember the name of it either.
I'm like, well, I can do that.
Yeah.
So I did it. And then I'm like, I wonder if I can do January. So I did it. And then I continued to do it. And I wasn't posting every day, but I was posting. And then I got a NetGalley, and then I started researching an Edelweiss. And then I pitched my first interview. And for the longest time, I had a few people here, a few people there. I loved talking books on Twitter. Loved it.
It's so
great
much
community, fun. Such a great community. And then, it just started snowballing. And, I'm gonna talk a little bit about my amazing team. We had a month recently where we had 50,000 visits to the site. 50,000.
That's incredible.
And 3 years ago, I was hyped for 6.
I love. Well, see, the thing is you kept that energy all the way through to your next goal. I love that.
Yeah, and give it to me. And I was so excited. I'm so excited for my team. And I go out and I pitch for whoever they want to interview. I'm not a micromanager at all. When you come on my team, I trust you. I give you access to the site. Read what you want, write what you want, write in your own style.
Yeah.
I want to hear what you have to say.
I love that.
Yeah.
I do. It's open.
I'm not a micromanager. And so we get all of these different vibes on the site. We got Eleni, who writes in kind of like Dear Reader.
Okay, yeah, very informational.
She's fantastic. And then you have John, who I will never write as well as him and his daughter ever.
Yeah. Oh, ever. Yeah. He's such a cool guy, isn't he?
Yeah. He actually is my right hand on the magazine.
He mentioned during our interview, he mentioned you in a very dearest way. It was great.
Yeah. He's truly a wonderful man, and I'm so excited to call him my friend. I'm so happy to call him my friend.
And not only that, where's the talent for the rest of us? This guy just has it all. He's got it down, man. He's doing what he loves to do, and he's so good at it. So good at it.
P.L. Stewart too. Such nice people, like C.T. Phipps. Such good people.
John Douglas says, "Hail Beard, hail Beth." Hi. Great to see you both tonight. Thank you, brother. He always stops in and says hi.
Yeah, I'm so blessed to be surrounded by such cool people. Danny Finn, who does a lot of sex positive, works with a lot of trans authors. He does romantasy. He's an amazing writer, and he's an assistant on the site, assistant editor on the site. And he's got this whole thing coming about really pushing romantasy and getting some of these very cool queer authors out, visible, getting people reading their work, having great discussions.
So he has a mission.
Coming up. He's got a mission. He's amazing.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
That's wonderful.
Yeah, Danny is such a fun guy. He is.
Yeah. That's a great comment. That's got to be so nice to hear. Good for him. I'm glad that he brings the energy, and you really love this energy he brings. So and this sounds like really from anybody that you've talked about, it is a blessing to be surrounded by people that you look up to and you look for inspiration, and they never let you down. The community is pretty cool. I'd have to say that's the number one thing that I noticed when I started. Just how open people were and how kind to say yes. Like to interviews. Did you find that out through doing interviews? You were like, were you intimidated at first, and then you just found out that they're the nicest people?
Yeah, I thought about it this way. I thought, okay, I can be intimidated, or I could just fucking do it.
Yeah.
What's the worst thing that they could say? They could say no. They could say you suck. They could say, and I'd be like, okay, well, I'll come back in a couple of years when you don't think I suck, and then I'll talk to you. The worst thing they could do is say no.
Yeah, exactly.
And I have gotten lots of no's.
Me too.
I have, and that's
it's just part of it.
Yeah, that's okay. Totally cool.
I love that because I took it the right way, and it was like they were never like, oh hell no. It was like, hey, I'm doing this at the time, or maybe in the future soon we can do something. Sure. It was never a mean, unkind no. Never. Well, not once.
You gotta remember, this is the professional atmosphere. I think as professionals, people wouldn't want to do that. I know that does happen, but people wouldn't want to do that. Even if, small fry.
So Book Mama says, Beth, I'm sorry if did you start Grimdark? I'm just getting acquainted with the community.
I did not. Adrian, the amazing man, started Grimdark magazine 9 years ago.
I've been talking to him. He's a really nice guy. I've been emailing him. We're trying to do something. I hope one day. Maybe.
I'm becoming more Australian every day.
Yeah, he just seems like a nice. And I just picked up Neon Leviathan just because, it's one of those books that they really highly,
Yes.
you guys really highly review. Have you read it?
I have read parts of it. I've got a stack.
Oh yeah. No,
Yeah,
for
I've
sure.
got
If
a
I
stack.
have a stack, you have like a mountain. And I get it. But it's a thing. I can't wait to give all these authors the review that they deserve. That's my goal. So it's so cool to just kind of have a relationship and kind of gain contacts. And Charlie says, "Nice shout out to the Aussies."
I want you all to know that we are doing a Aussie magazine, only Australian authors, in October of 2024.
Now, one of them is Jed Hearn, right?
I have no idea.
Yeah, he lives in Australia. I know that. I don't know if he was born there.
There's a ton. Like Karen Warren lives in Australia. There's a ton of amazing authors.
Richard Swan.
We're gonna do because there's so many cool authors.
I chatted with Richard. Actually, I chatted with Richard Swan, and he was such a cool guy. He was so fun. Who has been your most maybe not like as far as like how big the author is, but just how much it means to you? An interview that you've done that just means the most to you personally.
Okay, so I interviewed Patrick Rothfuss.
Oh my goodness!
Like I don't know, like a month ago. Me and John interviewed him.
He told me about that when we chatted. He's like, "Look, I just did this thing. I can't wait to hear about it. Please continue."
Yeah. So, Fabian and Grimdark Magazine set it up, and we, it was supposed to be a half-hour interview, and we talked for 3 hours. And
that's incredible.
Yeah, there's a lot of negativity towards him as an individual, and he's a really good guy in that he's dealing with some very complicated mental stuff.
Mm-hmm.
He's a perfectionist.
Okay.
To like the nth degree.
And that's stressful. That's hard.
And when you're, one of the things he said during the interview, he's like, I can't take a day off because if I take a day off, somebody goes hungry because of his charity.
Oh, wow.
It's that kind of mentality. And
that's pretty rough.
Yeah. And I'm not defending any of the things, going on with him, but it was a really, really interesting, really cool stories, really interesting interview. He's a cool dude.
Yeah, I'm sure. He's just there is a lot of pressure, I would say, on him to do certain things,
and
so that would get very
pressure
hard
every year to produce the next book. And then with his perfectionist tendencies,
that's a battle. It's like hard to win, huh?
Yeah,
between those two
he's
things.
Like every word has to be perfect. And then to stress over every word being perfect.
Because nothing's ever perfect. Nothing. Yeah. And it's when you're a perfectionist, it's this like irrational need to be exactly just perfect. And that's, as humans, we are imperfect people. So I don't envy that, but I'm glad that he was able to talk about it. So that's one thing.
I have another one that I did. What is it? Okay. I don't know if you read science fiction.
I do some. I'm getting into it.
Well, I cut my teeth in science fiction.
Okay.
And I have multiple copies of Snow Crash. I bought a copy of Snow Crash from every decade that it's been out.
This is the goal that I'm after. Yeah,
because I've done that with actually a few books because I love watching the transition between like 90s, 2000s, stylistic transitions. Anyway, I interviewed Neil Stephenson.
Wow, that's so cool.
Yeah, and that was surreal.
I'll bet. So when did you read that book for the first time?
When I was probably 18.
So somewhat foundational for you.
Yeah, some 18. And then I went out and I really tried to become an expert in classic science fiction.
Bert Shrub says, I love Snow Crash. And
by the way, let me give it a little holler to Mark Timoney.
Yes, that book looks amazing. I was talking to him about that not too long ago. It's like the perfect size book. Like it looks like a
Mhm.
chunker, and it's just
Yep.
got such a beautiful cover.
Yep. Just, I have got some ones that I really want to get to. I just haven't had a chance to, but that's on
No,
my shelf.
I totally
There
get
you
it, and I think that means a lot too. The fact that it's on the TBR, that means a whole lot to people. Eric Wag says, "Hail all! Thank you, brother, for stopping in." And Mark Timoney, he's been over here. Ozzy.
Ozzy.
And absolutely, we love that you're here. Thank you for being here, brother. What are you currently reading?
Let's see. I just finished. Okay. I just finished Zoe is Too Drunk for This Dystopia.
Oh, wow. I have not heard of that. That's incredible.
Okay. Have you ever read any of his books? Jason Parkin?
Do it. I have not. See, this is what I'm after, Beth. Don't ever stop. What's his name?
Jason Parkin.
Jason Parkin.
Yeah. Okay. So have you ever heard of John Dies at the End?
I haven't.
Okay.
I'm just a lame-o over here. The beard is lame tonight.
Well, have you heard of cracked.com?
I haven't. I'm still losing. I'm still struck out 3 times.
All right. So cracked.com was kind of a comedy site, 10 years ago. Interesting articles and stuff. And he was the editor of that. And then he came out with John Dies at the End, which is fucking nuts.
John said just the title's John Dies at the End.
Yeah.
What
number
brilliant
one
title.
John Dies at the End. And then this book is full of spiders. And then what the hell did I just read? And then if this book exists, you're in the wrong universe.
Wow, that says a whole lot. That's a pretty good title. Wow.
And this is book 3, and the first book of this one is Zoe Punches the Future in the Dick.
That's amazing.
I love it's that shit gonzo. Oh, it's so fun. I love his books.
I didn't know that there was a market for those kind of titles. That's amazing. I need to get that. Hold on. Yeah.
Zoe Punches the Future in the Dick.
Yes, that's the book right there. I have to have that on my shelf. I can't not have that one on my shelf now. Zoe Punches the Future in the Dick.
Definitely read John Dies at the End. Let me see if I can pull it up. Give you like a really short bit about it.
Okay. I am absolutely okay because those titles are something else.
Yeah. All right. It says, "Stop. You should not have touched this flyer with your bare hands. No, don't put it down. It's too late. They're watching you. My name is David Wong. My best friend is John. Those names are fake. You may not want to know about the things you'll read on these pages, about the sauce, about Korra, about the invasion in the future, but it's too late. You touch the book and you're in the game."
Oh, I love that because now you've got possession, and that's 9/10 of the law, right? I love that. It's like you have the book, so now you're screwed.
Yeah, it was kind of a shit movie though. I mean, it was okay. I give it like a C-. It was okay.
So when did that come out? Was that a newer movie or?
Probably like 2015.
Oh, okay. So not too old.
No, not too old.
So Alex Valdier says John Dies at the End is not available on Audible. Can we start with book 2 or book 1 is a must read to get into the series?
I think you should. He may not have done an audio version of book 1. Because it was kind of an underground thing. I think you can start with book 2. Just read up on book 1 a little bit because it can get a little confusing. About the soy sauce and the dog that's half dead and
there's some specifics in there that I feel like you need to do some research on.
Specifics. Yeah, you can start the second one. The spiders thing is really cool.
I'm excited. I need to look those up. I can't wait to read the blurb. I'm looking forward to that.
And he's also great to follow on Twitter too, by the way.
And his name was Jason Parkin.
Jason Parkin, yeah, Pargin.
Gin.
Gin, yeah. So I just finished this. What else? I am reading. I read like a schmaltzy fantasy.
What's that mean?
Is like sweet, kind
Okay.
of like a sweet. Like I read a lot of dark shit, so sometimes I need to like have
Oh yeah,
sunshine and rainbows. You know.
I agree.
And that was The Assistant to the Villain, which I do recommend. Very, very great book.
Now, is this a lighter read or is this a darker
It's a
read?
lighter read. It's
Okay,
a lighter read.
Assistant to the Villain.
Yeah, but it's not a romance per se.
Okay.
It's not a romance. Like it has some romantic elements to it, but they're like in the sky kind of thing. It's
So kind of tracks readers throughout fantasy, you would say?
yeah. I think it left me with Legends and Lattes
Yeah,
vibes.
it was good.
Yeah, like good vibes. It was fun.
I love a nice cozy fantasy, as they
Yeah,
call it.
it was good. It was good. And then I'm reading The Darkness Before Them.
Darkness Before Them.
Yeah, by Matthew Ward.
I feel like I've seen that cover.
Yeah. I'm in part of his series of book bloggers right now that are like doing reviews altogether. What else do I have in here? I have so many freaking books. I have like
Do you read more than one at a
5,000.
time like I do?
Yeah, I read. Okay, so I have one at the bathtub, one in the restroom, one audiobook. Usually one audiobook. Let's see.
Oh my
Bathroom,
goodness.
restroom. So 4. I have 5 going at once.
That's about 2 more than I do. I do about 3.
Yeah.
3 at the most, and usually it's 1, but I can go up to 3. Usually 3, actually. I've usually got 3 different books I go between. My wife's like, I don't know how you do that.
Well, if they're really different, it's easy.
Yeah, it's the distinction, the contrast between the stories is usually just that different to where it's not that much of an issue to dive back into it. That's right.
Yeah, if they're really close in plot, though.
Yeah, no, and I would tend probably to change the story if I was going to find that.
I also have the 10 or actually 9 now SPFBO books to go through.
That was my next thing. You're also a judge this year.
Yes, I am.
I love that. Do you love that? Because that's my goal is for Mark.
Yes.
I don't know how it happens, but I'm assuming Mark let you know.
So what happens is nearing the end of the competition, which ends in May, like April, he has a frank conversation with folks like, are you going to be able to do it next year? And it's a commitment. Like it's a commitment. And some people say, I can't do it. And then he goes out and he looks for individuals who can.
Okay.
And you have to, I have a team because I could possibly do it by myself. But
it's 30 books, right?
Well, it's 30 books to start. And you don't have to read all 30 books to start because it's a slush pile basically. And I wish there was a nicer way to say it, but it's a slush pile.
Naturally. I mean, you can't have 300 books in a competition and not be that.
Yeah. And so you go through, we try to do 25% of each book. A lot of people we had a crazy group this year. So a lot of the books actually got full reads.
Wow.
Yeah, because they were all good. They're all good.
I heard a lot of good things. In fact, I've probably most of my interviews are with the SPFBO 9 contestants, and I've just found out so many. That's kind of where I go. It's where I went at first to kind of line up interviews because if you're in this contest, you've got something really cool to talk about. It's something exciting. So they're just really good interviews. Yeah, exactly. Stressful.
And then and it's not really about winning, honestly.
I have definitely sensed that.
Yeah, it's about making connections and getting your book visible because the chances of you actually winning are something like 4%, 3%.
Yeah.
It's about getting your name out there. Because if you were so inclined to get picked up by a trad publisher, they look at these books.
Sure.
And if you're wanting to stay indie, well, then your book gets out there. more people are reading it.
Wow.
So
And
it's
I believe
good
that.
either way. It's good either way. Yeah.
Yeah, I wonder, like, so, I mean, I know of a couple examples, but that's just because I found out after this happened. But the process of going from an indie author to somebody contacting you and saying you want to publish through us, that must be somewhat of a defining moment.
It depends on what you want,
Yeah.
because I have a very narrow band of what I know about the actual publishing part, because I work with short stories, but a lot of times you have to make back what you get from the publisher to get something published. Like, it's not that they hand you a bunch of money and then you give them a book. There's a lot
That's
to
sad.
it.
Yeah, it's
Yeah,
sad that you
and
don't. It's never as good as you think, never as bad as you think.
yeah,
Uh,
and it's also, it's what's trending. You could have the best book in the world, and if vampires are trending, you're not going
yes.
to get published because it's a financial thing.
There's so much information going around, keywords and the algorithm and all that fun stuff that it's really just the luck of the draw when it comes to stuff. And I hope something happens to where it kind of makes it a more genuine process, but it's just the amount of information that's out there mixed with so many authors, and it's just, and like you said, it's not traditionally published. There's lots more indie authors than there are published authors.
I have a feeling, though, being a part of this community for the last few years, I think that it's changing, because they're phasing out brick and mortar in a way. Like, we still have Barnes and Noble, but generally speaking, they're phasing out a lot of the larger brick and mortar stores. They hopefully the mom and pops stores stay around because they're special. But
I think so.
So I think that the indie authors are going to become much more important, and I think
totally agree with you.
And I think that the bloggers, TikTokers, Instagrammers, YouTubers who present these books are going to play more of a part in the marketing scheme for getting a book out there.
I 1,000,000% agree with you. I'm so glad you said that.
I mean, TikTok is a huge driver for the romantic and smut market. Huge driver for that. And I mean, they have tables set up in Barnes and Noble for like smut. Get your smut here.
Yeah, they even have like TikTok authors and stuff like that. So you find yourself in a situation that could possibly, be helpful. But there's, like you said, there's lots.
Yeah.
Indie power. I agree, Eric.
Indie power. That's right. Another great thing about indie books is they can let it all hang out. Like,
they can do what they want.
Indie books can be anything.
That's such a freeing point, because if you can write what you want to write, and you're retaining the rights to those. So if you're a Ryan Cahill or Zach Argyle, a Rob J. Hayes, all these successful authors, which congrats, I can't wait to talk with. I talk with him in a few days. Rob J. Hayes with The God Eater. Oh, I'm so that I finally am going to get some really nice collector's edition hardbacks, because I was telling Beth, but before this, I'm still waiting to get my subscription to the Broken Binding. It's a really long wait list, and it's deserved. They've represented a small press doing specialty things in a very, very good way. So I can't say enough good stuff about them.
The other one is Goldsboro. Remember I was talking to you? Goldsboro is the other one where I get my books, and Illumicrate. But there's like a year-long waiting list for Illumicrate. There's a waiting list for Goldsboro too, but it's not like Broken Binding.
Isn't it? So what's your favorite thing if you pick up a book, even it's just a normal book that not a special edition, a paperback or a hardcover? What do you look for first?
With like inside the book, like in terms of
feel of the book, whether you like a hardback, softback, a dust cover.
So I think of my books as kind of a celebration of the story, and I like the books that I get I like them to feel special because we've got ebooks. I can read anything I want, anytime I want. But, I want this. My girl.
Yes, Crystal.
Crystal. Like this is a book as a celebration. It's heavy. It's hardback. She wrote something in it for me. Sent
I
me
love
stickers. Like that's what I look for.
I love that. And
Yeah.
it's so, I can't stress it enough. As somebody who receives book mail, I am so much on your side with this. If I open that and it's personalized, it says to Matt or Beard of Darkness, whatever you'd like to call me. And I appreciate you. It's just such a nice touch to it. And I'll never, ever not have a spot for those on my bookshelf. Do you agree?
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Oh, it's just the best thing ever.
This is my second bookshelf. I have 4 bookshelves downstairs, 4 Billies, completely packed downstairs. I have every book that Dr. Seuss ever wrote downstairs.
That's amazing.
I have the whole collection, all 76 of them.
That's one heck of a publishing record.
Yeah, like it's a thing. Like
he was such a loved. He just did the best things for kids, and we still read those to our kids now. I have 4, and I
fucked up ones too, which is kind of
does
fun.
he?
Yeah, I've got some of the really fucked up ones too. I had to go hunting for. He was a product of his time too,
Okay, no, that I know exactly what you mean by that, and it's like with those writers, they are, and that's part of like recognizing the history with it too. That makes it a fun read. So, other than reading and doing your reviews, what kind of hobbies are you into?
Okay. So, like, I don't do anything small. Like, I don't ever do anything small.
Mediocrity is not in your vocabulary.
Yeah, well, it might be mediocre, but I don't do anything small. So I really like perfume, and it's funny because I'm actually partially anosmic.
What's that mean?
I don't have a sense of smell. Partially.
Wow, I did not know that.
Yeah, I had sinus surgery in my early 20s because I had no air was going through my nose at all.
Wow.
And I didn't have any sense of smell for like a decade. And then I got a little bit of it back, but it's much less than other people.
That's incredible, like that you've kind of regained that a little bit.
I have regained a little bit, but what I can smell, I want to smell a lot of. So I collect perfumes, exotic perfumes, and I have about 300 bottles of perfume.
That's a lot of perfume.
That is a lot of perfume.
I mean, that's potent. They all break and like you're moving or something, and they just all shatter. That would be one concoctious mix.
I have them all on my in my bathroom, like on my vanity. My bathroom is stupid big for some reason in this house.
Crazy big.
It's just stupid big. I don't know. I'm renting this house, and because the glass shelves were actually bowing in the IKEA glass, I don't know what it's called.
You don't want glass to be bowing.
It was bowing, so I'm like,
yeah.
And so it's like I have some over here and I have some over here, but I don't have anything like a stripe going down the middle because the glass is bowing. So I'm having shelves made specifically so that they can hold the perfume.
Okay, so I kind of did the same thing, but for books. I've got 2 really big, like I look at it when I'm talking on my lives, and that's like a lot of my videos. You'll see me looking up. I'm not like losing concentration or something like that, or just like following a butterfly. I'm looking for books. But no, I had to make sure that those studs were in there. I have some Ryan Cahill books, some Brent Week books up here. I need a stud. These books are big. Oh, nice. I love it. I just chatted with him. He was
broken binding. Like he broke the website.
So when I started my channel and started interviewing people, that was my goal, was to talk with him. And now I have to come up with, so quickly I reached I thought that I would never reach goals. Did you feel the same way when you started chatting with people?
I had a list, right? And I'm like, okay, this one, I'm going to go after this one. And then I just started checking them off. And then I got this year, I'm like, okay. I interviewed Jim Butcher a couple weeks
Oh
ago.
man, that would be cool. What a legend.
Yeah, he's absolute legend for me. I mean, amazing dude. So I interviewed Jim Butcher, legend. That was my that was my unicorn.
That's a
and
good
Rothfuss
unicorn.
was my unicorn, and Sanderson was my unicorn. So, I mean, George R. Martin, and maybe Neil Gaiman. I would love to interview Neil Gaiman, but that would be freaking terrifying.
Would it though? I thought that the same.
Yeah, it would.
I thought that the same to be with like Ryan or there's a couple other like Rob J. Hayes I'm getting ready to speak with, but they're as somebody who enjoys their stories, it's just like they're these leveled up human beings to me, and I look up to them.
I can have a conversation with him. I'm sure I could, because I've read all of his books, but it's just the reach that he has. Like, it's if you went and interviewed Stephen King. Can you imagine? Like, you could have a conversation. I've read 75% of Stephen King's books. That's another one of my challenges.
I can see the regulators behind you, Richard Bachman. A lot of people don't know that was his other pen name.
That's where he really got fucked up.
Yeah.
This is Richard Bachman books. But like the reach, it would go out. That's the scary part. That's the kind of terrifying part.
So I believe the story goes, he was basically told on by his own book, because in the back it said rights owned are Stephen King. So somebody eventually figured it out, and then of course those started selling off the shelf. So they never really proved their experiment. They're like, okay, if you write under a different pen name, will you be as successful? And it didn't pan out, because somebody found out, and then everybody just bought him up. So he never got to prove to himself whether it was the talent or just luck,
It's talent, though. The Regulators is crazy.
I haven't read it yet. I've got it up. I'm looking at it right now. I haven't read it. I haven't read it, the actual book, It.
I have tried. Fuck that book. I have tried 3 times to read It. Fuck that book. This is a special edition Bachman.
Those I want Desperation so bad. Guess that looks so beautiful. But I understand what you're saying about it. I have read some of it, and it's not for the faint of heart or somebody who can be offended easily, something like that. There's lots of the time in it, really.
I can't be offended. Like, I'm not offended. I've read some of his other books are way more gruesome.
Well, it's not the gruesomeness. It's some other stuff.
It's the clowns. It's the clowns. Sorry, that was my ringer is a screaming.
I thought somebody just all of a sudden was getting slaughtered in the background.
My ringer is a screaming goat.
What's really going on in that house? Now, see, that would scare the bejesus out of me and my kids.
It scares everybody, but I can't hear my phone. Otherwise, I have to get the most annoying thing possible so that I could shut it off really fast.
Yeah, it's like what pisses me off the most and drives me the most insane, and I have to pick that because I won't wake up otherwise. I get it. I really do. I'm the same way. My wife will like poke me and prod me. It's like, you wouldn't wake us. I don't even remember you trying to wake me up.
My husband has narcolepsy.
Oh my goodness. So that's hard. Is it like severe?
No. It's controlled. In medication and stuff, he doesn't like, I don't have to tie his head to a wall or something.
Yeah, that's scary.
No, it's nothing like that. But he does fall asleep really easily. And so he has to have multiple, like 6, 7, 8 alarms all spaced apart. And our alarm is currently Thus Spake Zarathustra, the theme to 2001 Space Odyssey.
Okay, yes.
And so he has it ramping up, so it gets really loud.
I love that. That's so funny. Charlie says, have you read The Stand, Beth?
Yes.
That's one I haven't read yet, and I have not. Like when I ask in my Stephen King groups, when I had a Facebook, somebody hacked it and is asking everybody on the list for money, which pisses me off because I can't get a hold. I can't gain control of it. But I digress. I've just heard so much good stuff about The Stand on my the Stephen King Facebook groups I was a part of. I would often ask, what is the best Stephen King book? And it was The Stand or Oh goodness. The Shining.
Okay. So I've actually read The Stand. I've read the non-edited version of The Stand.
Yes, the
which
only
is
one worth buying.
1,700 pages long or something crazy. Like,
Wow.
I'm reading. It just keeps going. It's going. And it is masterpiece status.
Wow.
However, I think that Salem's Lot is truly Stephen King's masterpiece. Shining is great. Yeah, Salem's Lot. The Shining is great. And it's iconic. And it's a masterpiece too. But Salem's Lot is like next level.
E.C. Greaves is in the house. Hey, Matt and Beth dropping in super late from work.
Just in time to get jump scared.
Jump scared by your ringtone.
I'm so sorry. I thought I had it on silent.
Hard day at work, and all he does is come here and just get scared.
Screaming goats.
Speaking of an SPFBO finalist, E.C. Greaves, I'm so happy for him.
I'm so happy for all of them. They're so deserved.
When you said the statement earlier about it's not about winning or prospering one over another earlier, he was who I thought of, E.C. Greaves. He's very much that way. Like, I'm here to say, to write a book, and if you like it, I love that. And he's just very chill about it. I love it. Very kind guy. So like I said, that's who I thought of.
I actually have not read Joyland, Benjamin. I have that's one I have not read.
Joyland has become my fave in recent. Okay, who's that by?
I have not. No, that's a Stephen King book.
So, really? I didn't know that.
Yeah. You know what? If you Charlie, if you really, as you say, you really love Stephen King, Chuck Wendig wrote The Wanderers, or Wanderers. I guess it's just Wanderers. 2 years ago, and then he had a follow-up to it. That is his epic book, and it's very much in the same sort of feel as The Stand. And I think it I mean, it's Stephen King. You can't put much up against Stephen King, but it's a hell of a good book. Pretty much everything Chuck Wendig writes is good, but it's a hell of a good book.
That's cool. That's a new name for me.
Chuck Wendig?
Yeah. I'm writing that one down.
He writes some messed up books with insects.
Oh, wow.
I think he's got one. Let me get you the title.
Yeah, that sounds interesting.
Ants, I think. Well, he wrote the Book of Accidents, which was really great. Wanderers. Mm-hmm. He just released Black River Orchard. Invasive. Ants.
That sounds unique.
Like ants that swarm you and like melt your flesh, and
that's pretty interesting, I would say. It sounds like kind of far out. Is it like a fantasy or sci-fi?
It's it's a speculative book, I suppose. You know, It takes place now, but it's got some running head down now. Yeah, I actually have that somewhere. Oh,
I agree, Charlie.
I wish I
writing
had
that down now.
I wish I could take my camera and show you guys. Oh. It's somewhere. I have a copy of The Wanderer.
I have the same problem. It's like I think I remember exactly where my books are, and for the most part, I'm right. But sometimes it's like I can't picture where it's at, and it just takes me a minute to find it.
I know we have some fans here.
Look at that.
Oh,
Jim Butcher. Okay,
yeah, that's the new one. Yeah, that's a new one that he just came up with.
I suggested that series to my wife just the other day. She's not into like really big epic fantasy, but maybe urban fantasy I think would be fun.
Have you seen these?
I have seen those. Yeah, they're really beautiful.
Yeah.
Scott Lynch is also one of those guys.
He's on my list. Yeah.
That would be so cool to interview him. You know who I would like to get is James Rollins. I was talking about this earlier.
Yeah, James Rollins would be cool. Yeah.
I think he would be one of the coolest guys to chat with. He's kind of what got me into reading at the age of 29 because I was a late bloomer.
He came out with something not too long ago, actually.
Yeah, Tides of Fire.
Yeah. Yeah,
That was part of his Sigma Force books.
That would be really cool.
Now if you want some fantasy by him, if you like his writing, he's got the Moonfall Saga. That's the Starless Crown and the Cradle of Ice. I highly suggest that.
I know of the Cradle of Ice. I saw that on the
well, that's
shelf.
the second book. Yeah, that's the second book. Starless Crown is the first. It's a duology. It's so worth it.
Let me think of what else. Oh, here's one.
Oh, I've heard good things about Justin Lee Anderson.
Yeah.
I keep seeing pictures of him at conventions, and I'm like, I have to read his books.
Have you heard of Jackson Ford? I've interviewed him.
Nope. Jackson is my first boy's name.
Oh.
So that'd be an easy one to remember, Jackson Ford.
Yeah, it's a Tegan Frost novel. Sort of, she's the protagonist. It says like Alias meets X-Men.
Okay.
It's really fun. It's like
Did you
really
like Justice of the Kings? Oh, there we go. Fix the green screen. There it is. Justice of the Kings by Richard Swan.
I never read it.
It's like they call it SVU mixed with epic fantasy, and I would agree with it. It's got a law. He's a lawyer.
Oh yeah, I have not. I have that on my shelf somewhere. But I have not read it yet.
Highly recommend it.
Adrian really likes that book. He's mentioned it a few times.
I haven't finished it yet 100%, but what I've read so far is right there. It's got the law aspects like that you don't really see. At least I haven't in many epic fantasies. But yeah, it's refreshing. I love it. I highly recommend it, just from what I've read.
There's actually quite a few lawyers that are writers.
I can imagine because more salary means you can, put out more books. So I definitely could understand that.
I'm trying to remember what his name is. Go ahead.
No, I'm so sorry. Sometimes it lags and I interrupt people. I'm so sorry.
No, go ahead, please.
I was just saying I live in a place called Chillicothe, Ohio. John Mauro knows of a book, a hotel in Chillicothe. And I can't remember the guy's name, but he's a doctor, and he's talking about the town that I live in. And I've chatted with him, and he drives through. He's a medical doctor, and he's just really interesting to find out that there's a book about the city I live in.
That's cool.
Which, it's not even a big city. It was the first capital of Ohio. It was Chillicothe. It's Columbus now, but that's the only thing going for it. Nothing else. So it's like. Yeah, I had no idea somebody wrote a story with the name in it. So that cracked me up. But he does a wonderful job. It reminds me of Saw. That psychological thriller, suspense horror. Exactly.
Cool.
But yeah, that's really what I'm reading right now. And also, I have to shout out. There's so many books I could shout out about, but Pathlighter by Rob Lee's coming out soon. And I'm really excited for people to read that. It's been one of the coolest books I've read in a long time.
Here's one. Luke Arnold. His series.
One Flea in the Fade.
This is noir.
I haven't read a noir book yet.
Yes, this is like noir fantasy. It is Sam Spade-ish, dark. It's really quite good. This is the third book.
Okay.
I think. Yeah, this is the third. The last Smiland Sunder City is the first one.
I'm excited. I haven't read. I've been searching for like a noir fantasy, like what you're just talking about. So that's exciting. I can't wait to check out what the book one is. And I didn't know that was a heavy genre right now.
There's Gun with Occasional Music, also that you can read. That's Jonathan Lethem, and that's like considered like classic noir fantasy defining genre book. If you want to get into it, it's really quite good.
I would absolutely love to read that.
My best friend, my sister, basically just came as a So Do I, Beth. That is
Oh,
my. That is my.
I saw that, but I didn't know the context.
Yeah, that is my best friend of 30 years or whatever.
Thank you, Karen. I love to know that now. I'm so glad you're here. Thank you for stopping in. I appreciate
Thank you
that.
for coming, hon.
That's so awesome, showing support. Let's see. It's got a strong the name of the rose feel, and it's really well done.
Yeah.
Which book is he talking about?
You're talking about Gone with Occasional Music, right?
Okay, yeah, that sounds incredible because that sounds more foundational.
Yeah,
Like
and it's
if you're
short too. It's
okay,
short. So
it's a book you could read and review fast. That's
Mhm.
always good as a reviewer if you
Yeah.
can find some of those. It makes the process a little quicker sometimes, which makes you and the author happy. So
actually, I'm running a team for the novella, like the SBFBO, but it's for novellas.
I love that.
I love novellas, so I'm a
I've been-
huge fan of novellas.
I've been seeing those or that contest going around. I didn't know that you ran that.
Yeah, I've got.
I love
We
that.
have got a team. Yeah, haven't been able to do a whole lot of focus on it just yet because reasons, but but yeah, I've got about 6 people, I think, on the team, and
That's
oh yeah,
well,
Luke is he's on Black Sails. He's Long John Silver's, I think, on Black Sails.
okay.
Yeah. Svisniks.
That's the issue. That's why I couldn't remember the name of it because it's not Spitbow. It's not something that just kind of rolls off the tongue.
And you have Spitbow and Spacebow. Like, I refuse. It's Spacebow. It's just Spitbow and Spacebow. Simon R. Green. Yeah.
Series is Supernatural Noir. Okay, Simon R. Green.
She talk about somebody who can read fast. She can read multiple books a day.
Wow, that's incredibly fast.
She has that I don't know how she does it, but she can read multiple books a day.
Speed reading ability. That's what that would be called.
I do not. I talk in my head as I read. And if you can break that and not talk in your head and just think in pictures and stuff, you can increase your speed reading, but I've never been able to do it.
So that sounds kind of like my issue. Yeah.
It's a really good idea. Yeah.
Okay. So Beth, what is next for you?
Well, busy year up ahead.
Okay.
Keep growing the team, keep trying to reach out and reach more people, get more people to both Grimdark Magazine and Before We Go. We have some really cool issues coming up. So January doesn't really have a theme, but it's got, I guess I can talk about it now. The cover story is a backstory for one of the characters from the Maleficent 7.
Oh wow!
So everybody lose their shit because it's. I'm not going to tell you which character, but it's one of them.
There's the Maleficent 7, and then there's the Magnificent 7, right?
In the Maleficent 7 and the.
I have it. I know I do. I'm looking for
one
it
is
right now.
Grimdark.
I know I have that.
One is Grimdark, and one is not.
Okay, the one that is Grimdark has like a darker cover. It's not the light Magnificent 7.
Badass.
Okay.
It's
So I've got that one. I just can't find it. I haven't read it yet, but I'm so excited to. I've heard such good things about that book.
Like 7 of the most horrible people ever come together as a team. Like just the most horrible people ever. Yeah. So that's our cover
That's me.
story. Yeah.
That is absolutely something I would read.
It is so freaking exciting.
Oh, I want to show. I've got it right in front of me. Beth, this is a wonderful book. This is an arc. This comes out November 20th. This is one I've read, so that's why I'm commenting on it. Pathlighter by Rob Lee. And can you guess who did his artwork?
That would be your wife.
Felix Ortiz.
Felix Ortiz.
Felix Ortiz. So he's doing it right.
Oh yeah, I would. Felix Ortiz, you have to like a year in advance.
The dude is
to get me his. I was thinking, I'm like, I would want a cool thing for the website, but then it's like, I'd have to wait a year. He's worth it, but I'd have to wait a year.
Yeah, I mean I see. It was funny because Rob Lee, he's a really cool dude. I found him on Instagram, and he's just starting out. This is his debut, his novel debut, called Pathlighter, and nobody really had showed any interest in it. And I'm like, oh my goodness, these people are crazy. So I had to direct people his way. He's got something really cool, and you find those. Not that they're not all wonderful, but there's ones that stand out. You know what I mean?
Hey, have contact before we go. We'll do a a release thing, and maybe get somebody, if somebody has some free time, maybe read it.
Yeah. He's just a good dude. So I always like to tell a lot of the people that are I'm going to review or reviewing, because I just look up to, like I said earlier, it's like they're a level up for me, and I just look up to what they're doing, because you said they're working, they have families, just this cool aspect to it.
They're people doing cool stuff.
Exactly. So is there anything else coming up for you?
Actually, let me answer a question or a comment real fast. Charlie, so you've got the Nightside series. Simon Green also has recently put out another urban fantasy series that's really, really good. And I'm getting the name because I can't remember the name of the series. So one sec.
You did say you did that.
I have a terrible time remembering the name of the series.
I told her I'm the same way. It's like the ones that I love the most, as often as if I get asked about them, I just completely blank out.
Yeah. And so this series he just started putting out. I've read the first 3 books of it, I think, is Gideon Sable. Gideon Sable is fantastic. So if you want like another easy Simon Green urban fantasy series, Gideon Sable is a master thief with a team in a supernatural city kind of thing. And they're great. They're great. They're like Ocean's 13 kind of, but with supernatural elements.
That sounds really interesting.
And there's great audiobooks for them.
That's always important, right? So, sorry, get back to my question. No. I almost forgot is why I said that. Sometimes I just kind of blank out, but I'm glad I remembered, because I really want to know what's coming up for you.
So more before we go stuff. We've got, the magazine. I have a magazine that I'm putting together for April that is going to focus entirely on South Asian authors.
That is very cool.
Because I don't think I want to bring stories from that area out more, and it's a huge it's a melting pot of different storytelling, and there's so much going on down there.
Wow, yeah.
And so that's going to be the focus of that particular issue.
I think that's cool that you sought that out, and it sounds like something that's going to be really dear to you to do.
Yes, it's people, anybody who has family from that area or has those storytelling traditions, or anything like that. I want to bring those stories out.
I think that's a message that a lot of people will accept and spread the word, and I think it's going to be really exciting.
Yeah, and then we have our science fiction issue, and then we have our Aussie issue, and then we have a horror issue.
That's so cool. One of the things that I knew first about you was the Grimdark magazine. Yeah. Everybody knows Grimdark magazine. That's in like the fantasy area, the community, and I just think it's really cool that you're a part of that team, and I respect it. So I think they were probably my introduction to fantasy period, because before I read something, I was 29. I didn't really know what I wanted to read. I think I took a recommendation from Grimdark magazine, so it's really cool. It kind of hits home for me. But was there anything else before we get off here that you want to highlight before we?
If anybody has any questions, you can ask me. I'm an open book. I'm really easy.
Well, good. That's wonderful to know too. That you're an easy person to reach out to.
I am. Please, yeah. You can DM me. My DMs are open. I would love. Our reviews are closed on before we go. I would love to review everything that we get sent, and we have a big database that is open for our reviewers that has all of the different stories and stuff that we get sent. But I must get 10 to 15 every day, and we're closed. So if you send us stuff, I love you. I am sorry. We don't have the manpower at the moment but we do keep it. People go in there and look at the stories and stuff and pull stuff out to review. So
that's good to know. And I think a lot of people respect that you said that. And I think that's wonderful for authors to know.
Yeah, I'm not ignoring.
Important. But lastly, I'd just like to really just thank you for letting me borrow you for a little bit and get to pick your brain.
My pleasure, man. I was okay. Tell me more. What was the name of the Southeast Asian issue? We don't have a name for it. It's going to be Grimdark Magazine, and we're just going to have a focus from authors telling stories from that particular area. India, that whole. Really cool. I can't really tell much about it because I have a whole bunch of stuff lined up for it, but like contracts aren't signed yet. So, but it's going to be cool. And it's a lot of really wonderful authors that y'all read. Let me just put it that way.
So I love that you're kind of giving a little bit of a teaser because
just a little bit.
I think people are going to be looking forward to it.
Yeah.
And like I said, I just really appreciate you letting me pick your brain. And until next time, because this won't be our last conversation, I guarantee it. We'll have to have like a panel of us on, and maybe like a book in mind that we're kind of just swapping our opinions on. I think that would be pretty fun. I've never done that.
Alex, you should talk to me. Yeah, talk to me. We'll have a conversation about it.
Wonderful.
Yeah.
Thank you for answering that, because that's going to be important information for him. I'm glad you asked, Alex.
Yeah.
And I would just like to thank everybody that was here to hang out with us for a little bit, and those who watch it in the future. And until next time, guys, I hope you have a wonderful night. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much, everybody. It was lovely. Have a